Oi, oi, my people. Welcome back, welcome to the Talk with RomeoTshepisoSambo, your monetary education scholar, the Hokage, aka the most bohalest, it's very difficult actually to get quite a handsome young smart man. That's also teaching people about money. So yeah, man, guys, welcome. What I did, actually, let's start here. Last week, I was actually getting honored by the African Artisans Awards. I was actually at the African Artisans Awards, and I was getting honored. And as a future leader, that's making waves in the African continent. And I'm excited to actually announce to you guys that on the 27th of May, 2023, the Nelson Mandela Foundation will be honoring yours truly in initiating a movement called the African Future Leaders. So this is a movement or initiative that's actually going to be, designing African solutions for Africans by Africans. So yeah, I am very honored, and I'm very proud of myself and my team. And thank you guys for being with me, throughout this whole entire journey, man. Well done. Yeah, I actually put up a bunch of questions on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and I told people what they want to know about me or what they want to learn about. And one of the questions that I got was actually from someone who was asking me, why don't I host seminars anymore like I used to in 2016 when I was telling people about Bitcoin and everything, crypto and all that. And my answer to that is very simple, and I'll be very direct. The people that actually need the information, poor people would rather pay for entertainment than actually, pay to actually get educated. So, being a knowledge merchant, I had to use other alternative ways, which is this podcast, which is radio and all that. So, yeah, I just had to bring it digitally. So, I'm still doing the same thing, but I'm doing it differently, a bit smarter. And you'd be surprised about how many people actually see my post, but how many people, don't engage in it. The people that knew me and the people that knew me like from a very young age. And, yeah, it is what it is. But the people, that actually, don't actually need this type of information are intrigued. I have a lot of audience from the international, from the Western side, and they're asking me, dude, how did you know this? And a question that actually arose by one of them, I forgot the name, actually forgot the guy. I'm so sorry, man. I said I will mention you, but I forgot it. It slipped my mind, and I don't have the time to actually go back. Was how was I able to see like this global economic market crash? Like Winston Churchill once said, the further you look back, is the more you can actually see what's going to happen. And I follow Mike Maloney, who's a monetary education scholar and a teacher. He teaches people about money. And yeah, I've been following him since 2016. And that guy actually just changed my life, And yeah, to answer the question now, I'll get back. So there's something that was called the Sucre system. So the Sucre system, it was actually an alternative for SWIFT, because now African countries, when they talked about or any other country to be exact, when they talked about actually, having their own currency, or their own currency that's backed by minerals, that they can trade amongst each other, they were sanctioned by the US, or the SWIFT transactions were not being, processed. So that was the only, it would have happened a long time ago. So that was the only challenge for it. And, I look back into history and actually going forward, and I'm like, what? So this is actually a very huge bubble. It's an everything bubble. So now let's go, with facts, actually. With facts. Let's talk about facts. So in Iran, there was they tried using this system as well as Libya. So yeah, Iran tried using this, and then the use of an alternative, payment method for, countries to trade outside of the US dollar. And, it triggered war. Saddam Hussein, who was a leader for Iran, actually said, no, man, these guys, the US, they actually taxing us. They taxing us by just printing more and more dollars. We should find an alternative way to actually trade amongst ourselves and other countries as well. And this triggered war, as well as, what happened with Muammar Gaddafi, the Libyan leader, the African leader that was also doing so. So now, what started? I started seeing, countries actually having this, like physical gold accumulation. So countries now started accumulating gold. I know China has been doing that a lot, and other countries as well, the Asian countries. China's been doing that, Japan has been doing that, and as well as many other countries as well as Russia, from the United States. And there's something also called gold repatriation, which means asking for your gold back. Because essentially how the dollar started, America during World War I was the only country that was not fighting. So it had accumulated 66.6% of all the gold that was actually in trade at the time. So everybody would send them, their cars, their electric, everything, their electric devices and whatever, and they would send them away those pieces of paper, which is like, I once heard a very, very weird term called exporting inflation. I was like, how do you export your inflation? And that's actually what America did. Like, they printed so much money, instead of actually getting or gaining inflation, the prices of goods and services rising, they were taxing other countries because of that, and that's how they exported the inflation. And then Germany was asking for, like, they tried gold repatriation against the US. They asked for 50% of their gold, which was stored in the US, and they never actually got it back. And I started also seeing, Venezuela also doing this, because they asked for $1 billion worth of gold from England, and they never got it back, in 2011. So I started looking at it from way back. So now let's get on it. In 1971, President Nixon ended the Bretton Woods system. The Bretton Woods system was basically, diluting money, making use of carbon-nickel coins, which is like what we use, the coins that we use right now, instead of physical silver. So carbon-nickel coins, could be printed in, masses, because with silver and gold, like God's money, they are finite. These, minerals are finite. You cannot make any more, you cannot add any more in the system, or you cannot take out any more in the system, which is why they keep purchasing power. And that's the difference, between money and currency, because, money is divisible, money is, exchangeable, and money is fungible, meaning $1 in my pocket equals to 18 rands in a South African's pocket. So, and that, not to be exact, because I'm not actually checking the markets now. The only difference between money and currency, and there's a difference, is store value. Money can keep value for a long time, because the same gold that the Egyptians were using 5,000 years ago is the same gold that's being used today. So now I will get more on the Bretton Woods system. This video is not for that, but it was basically, debasing money and actually, doing what the US has been doing by printing more, by actually, switching an alternative. Switching an alternative to money, either than gold and silver, which is carbon-nickel coin, which is something that they can create in abundance. And then I started seeing in 2001, Iraq started selling its oil in euro. So when that happened, that's what also triggered war. And then heading on to again, and then that's when the first, one of the first, post 2000 economic market crash or recessions happened in 2001. That's when the Nasdaq bubble actually, occurred because of that. And then in 2008, 1.25 trillion was added more, as base money by the US. And when this happens, it concerns other countries, it concerns other countries, and this, triggers inflation. And then many countries rush to gold and silver to actually account for that, because pre-1971, before President Nixon actually cut the dollar off the gold status, it was actually written in the Constitution that should this ever happen, where there's where the dollar now topples, that backs every other currency in the whole world, gold and silver will be our medium of exchange. It will be what we trade with, which was not the first time it happening, because it's been happening for years and years and years. We just never get taught about it at school. And yeah, man, so 2008, that happened. And then Iran ends oil sales in dollars. It ended the oil sales in dollars, which triggered the Nasdaq bubble. And then now I started seeing Turkey. They started, Turkey started selling gold for actually oil. So now they would buy gold with their local currency, and then they would export it and then get oil. So essentially they were trading oil with gold. So they were trading mineral to mineral. And when that happens, there's no inflation. You understand? Because it's finite. It's money that's finite. You cannot print any more. You cannot make any more. You cannot make any less. And then I started seeing India doing that as well. And then in 2009, after the, housing bubble, that happened in 2008, 600 billion was added as quantitative easing, tool, as a bailout, what we call a bailout, what the government calls a bailout, which is basically just the adding of more money, into the economy. So yeah, that happened in 2009. And then 2010, Libya, China, and Russia bypassed the US dollar. So they had bilateral trade agreements. So it means that they are ditching the dollar and actually saying, listen, we will trade amongst ourselves. And I started also seeing Utah, accepting gold and silver as money. And then Iran also followed by bypassing the dollar. So post 2011, China and Japan started trading directly, and India and Japan also started, bypassing the US dollar. Russia and Iran started trading directly, and then China and Brazil also started trading directly, and then Switzerland, the Swiss actually started repatriating their gold. So now you see this is actually a trend. Post 2013, African countries banned the US dollar. Do you know that in Zambia, if you are caught using the US dollar, you can go to jail for using that? You can go to jail for actually using the US dollar. So now, post 2013, there was quantitative easing 3, which was said that, they're adding $40 billion per month, which actually escalated to $85 billion per month, into the system, into the marketplace, as a bailout for what's happening to the US dollar. So this actually equates to 1 trillion per annum. And mind you, it took 200 years to go from $0 to actually $850 billion in existence. 200 years before. And then now you can see that per year there's $1 trillion being added on. That should actually worry you. It should worry you. So now Iran started trading energy for gold, And, Singapore, they also removed the dollar status. They started saying, okay, listen, we are tired of this. And then Germany also joined, they started repatriating. They repatriated 150 tons of gold from the New York Federal Reserve post 2013. And then China also, buys gold and bans the US dollar. From 2000 to 2012, China actually accumulated, from the year 2000, 700 tons of gold. And then by 2012, they had already accumulated 6,000 tons worth of gold. So right now, we are, thing is, what Putin actually said, now he said we are in favor of using the Chinese yuan across Russia, Asia, and Africa, and Latin America. So this should have also been, it should have raised people's, ears up. People should have started questioning this. Why are all these superpower countries buying gold and ditching the US dollar? So now, again, the US started, USA right now is actually about to lose the, world currency reserve status, which actually meant that every country, before they trade with each other, they buy the US dollar and then they trade amongst each other with the US dollar for whatever that they want. And, the US would actually charge on that. They will charge their profit. They will charge their tax on that, which is how the US actually got, they got rich, which is how they got powerful, because essentially they have no minerals, and aside from the ones that they bought already. And, there's nothing that they really, 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 really can, enforce in the world except the US dollar, which is just, a piece of paper, no different to monopoly money. So, yeah, that's how I started seeing, that the US will actually lose this war. And now, looking at it, from 1971 to 2001, on average, before, from a book and from, studies dating way back, centuries and centuries, and, millennials ago, gold, né? And every currency actually that's not backed actually toppled. Its average lifespan was 40 to 50 years. So every currency that has been in existence, and there were over 600 of them when I checked the notes the other times, between A and B, there were over 600 of those currencies, and all of them had went to zero between 40 to 50 years when they were unpacked. So 1971 to 2001 is 50 years. So hence now you're starting to see everything crack. So yeah, that should have also, that was also a sign that I also saw. And then now I started seeing, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and, and South Africa, my country, me siento, started also, saying no to the US dollar and saying that they don't want, Uncle John's money anymore, because it doesn't make sense to them. So yeah, that's how, I was able to, predict, the toppling of the dollar, because I just educated myself. Most people don't want to learn about money, but they want it. And that's where, they get things wrong. But otherwise, peace, love, and light, man. It's too much heat for the boys to handle. I just wanted to make this one short and sweet for you guys. But, if you need more information, I will just, start a podcast or start a chapter on everything I've spoken about, explaining it more in detail. I love you guys, me siento, love.